The dream of North Wilkesboro Speedway began in the mid-1940s, when Enoch Staley found inspiration in a stock car race that Bill France had promoted in South Carolina before the formation of NASCAR. The story goes that Staley and his partners ran out of money to create their perfect oval, leaving the track with an uphill slope on the backstretch and a downhill slope to the finish. Such was born one of the most unique short tracks in NASCAR history, a .625-mile oval that hosted the Cup Series twice a year until '96. Jeff Gordon won that final race here. From the second that last checkered flag fell, fans have clamored for the return of North Wilkesboro, and now we go back in time. The track has been digitally restored to its 1987 state, giving iRacers the opportunity to relive the iconic North Carolina short track as it existed in its heyday. Richard Petty won here 8 times, Darrell Waltrip 10 times, including 5 in a row. Who will win tonight in the Keep It Cool 199? Next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to North Wilkesboro Speedway, the Keep It Cool 199, presented by Mr. Radiator Auto Service. Qualifying complete, field already starting to grid up here on the front stretch. Let's take a look at our starting grid for tonight's race. On the pole position with a lap time of 19.013 seconds, it's the 77 of Sam Fontaine. Outside front row with HBR TV on the hood, Brandon Elfin, the number 21, starts outside front row. Row number 2, Jason Dalton in the 2, starts 3rd. Matt Telder will start 4th. 5th goes to Justin Bondurant in the 11. J.W. Miller sporting the 6 at T. Watson Racing. He'll start 6th. 7th goes to Sean Petchin in the number 69. Number 38, the 8th starter, it's Alex Bryson. 9th goes to Diego Sainz. 10th goes to Chris Dean. 11th starter, Tristan Lattiser. Josh Gagnon is 12th. 13th starting position, Cameron Ingram. Steve Miles, 14th. 15th, Alex Cummings. Chris Evans, 16th. Tyler Brewer, 17th. Jason Clark, 18th. Richard Midkiff and Cedric Ingram, 19th and 20th. 21st, Asher Gwinzy, Luke Simonson, 22nd, Blaine Sparling, 23rd, Jacob Drift starting in the 24th spot, Robert Lukens, 25th, 26th starter, that goes to Gary Wright. Your starting grid for the Keep It Cool 199. Formation laps already underway here at the Speedway. Going green the next time by. Again, tape-delayed coverage. We were unable to get this replay saved properly last week, so I had all kinds of hair-pulling events, but we got a copy of it. We're going to get this thing in here. Pace car is off. Green flag in the air. Sam Fontaine gets the jump over Brandon Elfin. Fontaine still with the race lead as the balloons go to the sky. Fontaine remains as the race leader. Brandon Elfin runs second. Then it's Matt Telder, Jason Dalton, J.W. Miller, the top 5. And caution on the speedway early. Not sure what's put us under the yellow at this stage. Gary Wright is in the pit lane. Very well could have been the driver of the number 61. No damage on that car. Maybe just turned a lap and pulled it to pit lane. Not sure the scenario there. Tyler Brewer on the track with a Pro Sim West paint scheme. Looks like a throwback AC Delco scheme. Asher Gwinzy going to hit pit lane here. Relatively early pit stop, about 4.5 laps in. Not sure if he may have been involved in this. Just a quick stop and go, topping off the fuel. So, first caution of the afternoon. Early on. Not 100% sure what it was for. Really can't even find any damaged vehicles at this stage. HBR TV doubleheader here today with this tape-delayed broadcast from last week. Also tonight, be race number 1 of the IROC Series with their shootout. That'll be out at Irwindale. Be sure to tune in for it this evening. Update in the stream chat. Looks like Jacob Drifts has a self-spin on the 61. Very good possibilities. We did see the 61 machine in the pits. It's Gary Wright. So pace car lights are off. Let's try it again here. Going to get the restart. Fontaine's going to take the top side here. Brendan Alford, the 21, he'll start in second. Pace car pulls off, field through turn number 4. Fontaine in the throttle. We're back racing in Wilkesboro. Fontaine gets the jump once again over Brandon Alphin. Alphin under attack from the 2 of Jason Dalton. Running in behind them, it's Steve Miles and Sean Petchin. Correction, Telder and Bondurant. Fontaine leads the lap after the restart. Still the battle for the second spot. Dalton in the number 2 machine up high. Telder in behind Brandon Alphin, the 21. The white machine, the number 1, that's Telder. Behind him, you have the 11, the Monster Energy machine of Justin Bondurant. Sun starting to peek out here at Wilkesboro. Close quarters battle here between Bondurant and J.W. Miller. Miller under attack now. He's got the 38 of Alex Bryson to the high side. The Gradient Concepts machine was alongside for a moment. Miller drove it in pretty deep, got the spot back, but now Petchin's going to be to the inside of Bryson, trying to take that spot down into turn number 1. Your leader still Sam Fontaine, about 2.5 tenths ahead of Brandon Alphin. Fontaine continuing to lead, not losing too much ground is Alphin though. He's keeping it within 2 to 3 tenths each lap. Really drives up to the back bumper through turns 4. At the stripe, Fontaine still has it, maintaining a 2 tenths advantage over the 21. Both Fontaine and Alphin now starting to put some distance on the 3rd place machine. That's now become the 1 of Matt Telder. Dalton runs 4th, Bondurant 5th. At the line, we got a battle for the lead. Brandon Alphin taking a peek to the inside. We saw a lap or two ago. Alphin was able to really close the gap off at turn 4. Really got a good run that time. Not enough to complete the pass as he does tuck back in behind. Alphin has taken a little bit higher entry into turn 3 there. See if that's helping his run out of the corner. Not so much to be excited about that time by. We'll see if it happens again here. Out of turn number 2, Fontaine still with the race lead over Brandon Alphen. Telder is starting to close the gap between these two as they start to battle for that top spot. Now he's there, the top 3 kind of all together. Other battles throughout the field. Steve Miles running in the 12th position, working on Tristan Lattiser, the number 23. Lattiser with some damage to the nose of that machine. Lattiser working on the 5 of Cameron Ingram. This would get him into the top 10. Lattiser switches it up, goes topside, trying to find a way around. No dice, but Ingram had to lift, but then maybe we're under the caution once again. Indeed we are. So Sam Fontaine's still your race leader. He's led it since the drop of the green. 23 laps in of 199. Alphen does have some pace. Once again, we have a yellow flag here at Wilkesboro. Not really sure the cause of it. I've got no indication. Possibly Jacob Drift as he hits pit lane here. Maybe this is just a planned stop. He's at the back of the field here. Fuel for sure. Just topping off the tank and away he goes. So under our second caution of the afternoon. About 24 laps complete as Fontaine crosses the stripe here. Still under the caution flag. A couple more laps. We should have a restart in hand. We're going to step aside real quick, get a break out of the way, and we'll be back with the restart after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short... Back at North Wilkesboro, pace car takes the hard left to pit lane. The green flag is back in the air. We're racing after our second caution. Fontaine, another great jump. Another poor jump for Brandon Alpha. Now he's on the bottom again. Jason Dalton to his outside in the 2. Still watching this battle for the second spot. Brandon Alphen ahead of the 2 of Dalton, but for how long? Now Telder is coming to the mix here. The white machine on the bottom, the number 1, taking advantage. He's going to try and steal the spot from Dalton, maybe put some pressure on Alphen if he can get clear. But the good news is for the 21, those guys are going to battle it out, allow him to get away just a bit. It's in everybody's best interest here for 1 and the 2 to stop fighting, just figure it out. He's going to lose ground as Telder does clear Jason Dalton. Dalton now under attack from the 6 of J.W. Miller. Outside lane doesn't seem to be working the greatest for these guys as he is stuck there on the high side. Seems that everyone's trying to drive below him. Diego Sainz in the 44 underneath Alex Bryson. This would be for the 8th position. In behind him, Cameron Ingram still running in the 10th spot. Steve Miles runs 11th. Ingram and Bryson now going at it. This would be for the 9th position as Ingram just gets a nose ahead. Bryson with the momentum out of the corner. He's going to defend successfully, at least for the time being. Tristan Lattiser in the 23, still with some nose damage on that machine, but he's hanging in there, still running in the 11th spot. Wants to put the challenge on that 38 of Alex Bryson, but Steve Miles is going to try and go the long way around. I thought we were going to go 3 wide for a moment. He thinks better of it. Gotta wonder if the nose damage on the Mr. Radiator number 23 is really hindering his pace at all. I know it's a short track, but aero plays a part just about any time you're above, I think, 75, 80 miles an hour. Aero will affect the handling on that race car. With that said, they're well over 90 to 100 miles an hour coming to the stripe. Chris Evans in the 00 on the inside of Josh Gagnon. This would be the battle for 14th. Some old school paint schemes here. That's an old UPS colors on the top lane, the old Home Depot colors on the bottom. Asher Gwinzy in trouble. Looks like we're going to have another caution here. The 12 having an issue out on the racetrack. Let's get a look at it. This looks to be a single car spin. Yeah. Didn't get any help to get turned around initially, but a little bit of a push there at the end. The 49, I think that was Luke Simonson, finishing off that spin. Tried to go wide, just didn't have enough room. But there you have it. Puts us under our 3rd caution of the day, and we're going to go to break here, and we'll be back right after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at North Wilkesboro Speedway, we are on the 1 to go after the single car spin from Asher Gwinzy. Sam Fontaine continues to lead over Brandon Alphen. Looks like everybody in the top 16 has yet to see pit lane, so no pit stops to be worried about just yet, but I imagine that is coming soon. Again, now 43, coming to 44 laps in. We've had a few cautions as well, so tire wear not terribly bad at this stage of the game, but again, an old racing surface, it's going to start wearing some tires. Pace car is off. Oh, we got trouble. The 2 is around. On the restart, we got a big pile up here on the front stretch. Well, that's not a good way to restart. Looked to be the 2 of Jason Dalton was the first to be facing the wrong direction. As much as I hate to do this, this is really the only way I can do this replay right now. So we're just going to rewind it here. See exactly what triggered all this on the restart. Again, Dalton ends up at the back of this mess. Luckily, he wasn't collected too much more, but we'll watch it at full speed here. Oh, Dalton just either misses his shift or spins the tires. Big wreck after the fact. Dalton might be lucky here to get away with this one without being too terribly damaged. So we see it again. He just gets on the power. The 2 comes around. He's going to clip Bondurant. And honestly, I think that's where it gets real bad. He gets Sean Petchin as well, but J.W. Miller comes in here. Diego Sainz, does he squeak through? Yeah, he does. He threads the needle big time. Everybody else hard on the gas for the restart, having to check up and get on the brakes to avoid wrecking their race cars. A lot of guys unable to do that. But there you have it. With that, we'll step aside once again here now that we're under caution flag, and we will be back after this. Back at North Wilkesboro Speedway, working our 4th caution of the night. Now you gotta wonder, are guys gonna hit pit lane this time? Sam Fontaine, still the race leader. We'll see if he comes down to get some pit work here for the first time this afternoon. He does. Some stay out, some come down pit lane. Brandon Alphen stays out. He's gonna try and pick up some points for leading the lap. Fontaine, we'll see if he goes with 4 tires and fuel. 4 is likely to be the call here. Tires and fuel for the what was race leader Sam Fontaine. He's down and away. So is Matt Telder. Jason Dalton comes in behind, getting some pit work done for the 2. A little bit of damage still on that 2. Doesn't stick around to get too much repairs done. Again, aero not a significant issue here, but man, with the whole back TV panel missing from that machine, real curious to see how well it's going to handle here. Meanwhile, Brandon Alphen, like I said, he did stay on the racetrack, did not opt to hit pit lane to get his tires and fuel. Alphen has yet to see pit lane. Really, the current top 6 stayed on the racetrack. Asher Gwinzy made a pit stop. Well, it was lap 4, so I guess you could say he stayed out as well. But everybody that's recent, Sam Fontaine is going to be the first driver on fresh tires, but he's going to restart back in the 13th position. He's going to have some work to do. You don't want to get mired back in the mid-pack there. That's where you can get caught up in somebody else's problem. Good thing for the 77, he does have some fresh tires. He can try to work his way right to the front. Put more cars in the rearview mirror than out the windshield, he'd be in much better shape. So, back to the front. Restart's going to be Brandon Alphen and Cameron Ingram. Pace car lights are off. Factor pulls down pit lane. Barney waves the green flag. We're racing at Wilkesboro. Alphen goes way high through turns 1 and 2, building that momentum on the opening lap since the restart. Cameron Ingram, second place. Chris Dean in third, challenging the 5 for that position. Diego Sainz also into this mix. And a pace car on the speedway once again. Didn't even get to the timing tower. 5th caution of the night. Hard to say specifically, might have been Tyler Brewer. There's certainly some damage on that 40 machine. Just past quarter distance here at North Wilkesboro. We've had 5 cautions thus far. So now the question is, we had some of the leaders opt for the pits and some opt not. Now's the opportunity, if you're kind of second guessing yourself, maybe I should come down pit lane. Well, now would be the time to take that opportunity. See if Alphen comes down or stays out. He's going to stay out, it looks like. Indeed, that's the case. Fontaine up to 9th after the restart. Remember, he's the first driver with a set of 4 fresh Goodyears underneath him. Jason Dalton running in 11th. He also made his pit stop for tires. And then Matt Telder back in P14. So 5th caution of the night. Well, we have a moment here. Let's take a look at the practice session just to see where everybody shook out as far as their times were concerned. Sam Fontaine was fastest with an 18:93. Not a great year, but a good lap time at North Wilkesboro. And then you look at these times all the way down into the 8th spot. You're all less than a 10th off of that best time, and then you're just over it back to 9th and 10th. So these guys had some pretty close times in practice, some very competitive racing to be had. Even if you've got some fresh tires, you're going to have to work some strategy here because you don't want to get caught in the mid-pack here into that minutia. Your track position is super important. You don't want to have to try and make those passes on the racetrack. Obviously, if you need to, you need to. But you got to try and keep the thing out front once you get there. So field getting formed up here. I think we're getting ready for a restart. Indeed we are. Alphen's going to restart on the high side with Cameron Ingram in the 5 on the bottom. Pretty significant damage to the rear end of that number 5 machine. I'll be curious if that's going to hurt him, but we'll find out here in just a moment. Barney waves the green. We're back racing once again. Griffin still with the race lead over the 44 of Diego Sainz. Up into the third spot now. It's the 24 of Steve Miles. We kind of said it in that caution coming to green that the 5 of Ingram was going to struggle a little bit. It seems that way as the yellow waves again. So Gary Wright involved in this one once again, as Jason Clark, Robert Lukens as well. Clark with some heavy damage on that number 20 machine. Caution number 6. Clark looking like a modified out there. Well, let's take a look at it. 20 of Clark at the bottom, already having some damage from a previous incident in behind Sean Petchin. Clark with no downforce just slides up the racetrack and nails Cedric Ingram. Bondurant dives to the bottom to avoid. He gets through clean. But there you have it. I've already lost count. I think it's caution number 6. With that, we'll step aside again. We'll be back after this. At North Wilkesboro Speedway, preparing for yet another restart. It's going to have Brandon Alphen on the outside of the 44 of Diego Sainz. Pace car pulls off. Let's try it again. Back racing at Wilkesboro. Sam Fontaine might have got a piece of the wall there into turn 1. It was minimal. I think we're under caution again, though. Indeed, we are. Jason Clark, Jacob Gladich, Justin Bondurant. Bondurant with some pretty heavy damage. Seventh caution of the night. Let's take a look at it again. Full speed here on the restart. There's the 11 of Bondurant, tail of the field. Oh, big checkup here. The right lane, for some reason, gets hard on the brakes. Some of the usual suspects in tonight's race, at least, involved in cautions. This is Gary Wright's second or third. Jacob Drift involved in this, as well as the 20. He was in the previous yellow. Let's try to get a better look at it here. See the 20, Jason Clark. We're going to ride on board on the roof cam here. I know it's tore up, but I think the car ahead checks up big time. Yes, he does, and it's kind of a chain reaction from there. Well, there you have it, our seventh caution of the night. We'll be back with the restart after this. Field working turn 4, pace car off the racetrack. Back to green flag action here from North Wilkesboro. Alphen remains in the lead. Over the 24 is Steve Miles, and it's Diego Sainz, Cameron Ingram, and now Sam Fontaine cracking the top 5 once again. Oh, we got trouble. Tristan Lattiser in trouble in the wall. Some others behind. Big time wreck into turn number 3. We've got a melee on our hands once again. Talk about cautions breed cautions. We just cannot seem to get any kind of stretch of green flag in here without these guys bending in sheet metal. That problem fixes itself after a while. There's no fast repair in this league, so once they tear it up too much, it's over for them. We'll look at it one more time. Like I said, it looked like Tristan Lattiser was the first to have an issue. I don't know if that brought out the caution necessarily, but we'll look at it from Justin Bondurant's perspective. It's already in play. Let's back it up. We'll go slow here from the blimp. First off, Lattiser in the 23. A little bit of contact with Simonson and Petchin. It sends Petchin down into the right rear of Lattiser, which in turn sends him up the racetrack, and then chain reaction from there. Drivers piling in. Tyler Brewer into Gagnon, Luke Simonson, Cedric Ingram. Bondurant's going to come in. Asher Gwinzy, I don't know if he was just going to dive to the grass to go through, or was worried the guys were going to slide up the track, but he almost drives right into the door of the 79. Bondurant does a pretty good job avoiding, still has to go off for him to get it done. But there you have it. This is probably our 8th or 9th caution of the day. Again, I have lost count. It's all right, though. They'll get it squared away. They always do, but we're going to step aside once again, get this break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back in North Wilkesboro for the Keep It Cool 199, presented by Mr. Radiator Auto Service. Field is on the 1 to go right now, so we'll have a restart here as they get back to start-finish in just a moment. Brandon Alphen, your race leader. Steve Miles is going to restart the number 24 machine to his inside. Then it's Cameron Ingram and Diego Sainz in row 2. Pace car pulls off. Green flag in the air. Good jump for Alphen. Alphen slides up the racetrack. Opens the door for Miles just a bit, but able to carry some momentum down turns 3 and 4. Way up the racetrack. Alphen might be losing the nose a bit on that machine, and we got trouble off of turn number 2. Matt Telder involved in this one, puts us under the yellow flag once again. Cautions breed cautions. We've said it a bunch already tonight. Not able to get any kind of separation between all these race cars and get some long green flag runs in. Unfortunately, it keeps everybody packed up. The tendency to push and get all the positions that you can on the restart, that's of course going to be there. But when that happens, you certainly increase the odds of these crashes to keep happening, the caution to keep coming out. We're approaching lap 80. We're not even halfway, and we're just about to 10 yellows. They'll get it sorted out, though. We've said that a million times. We've had nights in this series, this group, this league, the Great Lakes Sim Racers, where it's been a complete disaster for a portion of the race. Honestly, it happens, but all of a sudden, they figure it out, and then just like magic, they'll put on one whale of a show. So don't go anywhere. I wouldn't expect this to continue the way that it is. It's going to get better. I got to say it, man. It usually does. So I've got high hopes, and I'm pretty confident we'll be all right. I haven't watched this, guys. I've been in New Hampshire from Wednesday until late last night. There for the NASCAR weekend, of course, but came home early. Didn't see the Cup race today. Watched it on TV, of course, but broadcasting this on a tape delay as we were traveling last Wednesday. But I don't know who won. I don't know any of the incidents. So we're calling this as if it's live. I know the league members and associates are probably well aware of who did what and who won the race and everything else. But we're just going to go pretend like it's live. So we try to do at least. Telder leaving the pit lane after topping off the fuel, maybe a little bit of repairs. Caution came out with Miles in the race lead unless we missed it. Looks like Alphen did hit pit lane, lap 79 for 4 tires and fuel. He's going to restart in the 12th position, but with fresh Goodyears underneath. We'll see if he can work his way through the field just like Sam Fontaine did. Fontaine has worked himself up into the 3rd spot. Now, mind you, a lot of that's just gaining position on the restarts because we've had a lot of cautions within a lap or 2 of the restarts. So he's able to really be aggressive on the jump, make his way through, get a couple of spots on every restart. Remember, he was, I think, about 13th after he opted to hit pit lane when many of the leaders chose not to. See if it continues. Brandon Alphen, he's got work ahead of him, but with fresh tires on his race car. Race car lights are off as they work into turn number 3. We're going to get the restart here as they approach the start-finish line. Cars off into the restart zone. Barney waving the green. That means go. Miles in the throttle. We're back racing. Good jump for Steve Miles. Cameron Ingram still hanging tough in that top 3. Runs in the 2nd spot underneath Alex Bryson for the time being. In behind him, well, look at that. Sam Fontaine, and you've got the 63 of Alex Cummings into the fray. That's your top 5. Jason Dalton in P6. Sparling back in 7th, Petch in 8th, 9th, Justin Bonnerot, Brandon Alphen up 2 spots in 10th. Bryson takes the second spot clean, clears the 5 of Ingram. Again, Ingram with some damage still. Now he's got to fight with the 63 of Cummings. You got to wonder if these green flag laps are going to hurt the 5. Those quick cautions might have helped him initially as the field trying to come up to speed. He's got damage front to back. I got to be honest, I'm still quite impressed with the pace he's able to maintain given the damage on that machine. I know we talked about aerodynamics. They don't necessarily play a huge factor here at Wilkesboro, but they do still play a factor. That car is not as straight as it once was. Certainly beaten and bruised front to back. Battle now for the 3rd spot. Cummings to the outside of Sam Fontaine. And the number 63, that Dayglow yellow and orange machine. On the bottom, it's Sam Fontaine. The white and green number 77. Seems like everybody was running a throwback scheme for tonight's race, being at North Wilkesboro. I think this is an old Darrell Waltrip Mountain Dew paint scheme or something to that effect. Fontaine jumps into that 3rd spot now, clears Cummings. Cummings going to try and battle back, but not enough to get quite there. A couple inches off the back bumper. Miles continues to lead, with these 3 starting to reel him in just a bit. Lap 90, still about 10 shy of halfway. Miles making a move, dives it to the bottom, hard left turn to get alongside of Alex Bryson. He was there mid-corner. He's still there again down into turn 1. Fontaine up into P2. Now remember, Sam Fontaine made his pit stop at lap 47, took 4 tires and racing fuel. Steve Miles hasn't made a pit stop yet, so he's out in front, leading some laps here at Wilkesboro, but he's going to have a hard charge in Sam Fontaine in no time at all. So you're right on board with Fontaine in the 2nd spot. You see the distance out the front windshield to the 24 of Steve Miles. Gap to the lead is just under a full second as Miles works off a turn number 2. Fontaine now the same. Finally a little stretch of green flag racing here. The top 3 started to spread out a bit. Miles, Fontaine, and Bryson. Then in 4th, it's Dalton. 5th, Alphin. Remember, he started, I think it was 12th on the restart just a handful of laps ago. He's already worked his way into the top 5. Now 4th runs Brandon Alphin. Alphin on a tear, 2.6 back from the leaders. You know, even on them old tires, Miles is still starting to stretch it out here. It was a full second plus. It's about 1.1 now, but at the stripe, still starting to gain some more ground, putting some distance between himself and Fontaine. Again, on old tires, we're just about halfway. It's on the set he started the race on. And again, mind you, we have had a bunch of cautions, so not a ton of wear on that 24 machine. But still, I got to imagine that Fontaine coming down at lap 47 for fresh tires, you'd think that he'd be just running away with faster lap times. But in fact, Fontaine's about 1/10 of a second per lap slower than Miles presently. Now that may change as we get further into this race. Eventually those tires will wear out. Of course, the first half of this race riddled with caution flags. May we see the opposite here in the second half of this race? Do we go green the rest of the way? I doubt that. Again, regardless of who's racing, what series, what league. And there you have it. I had to say it. Broadcaster's curse. Caution is on the speedway once again. Not sure who brought this one out. Possibly Asher Quincy. Hard to say because he's been involved in one or two of these already tonight. Some damage on the 12. But we are officially past the halfway point. Tonight's Keep It Cool 199. Drivers in the pit lane. It's really a break for the 24 miles. He's able to come down under the caution flag, get pit work, right side tires, Sunoco Racing Fuel. It's going to be a 4-tire stop, it looks like, for Miles. Indeed it is. Didn't need to worry about planning on a green flag stop for the 24 as he was leading the race at the time, but it's going to give it back to the 77 of Fontaine. It was interesting, though. Miles, like we said, was starting to run away. Hit 1.3, almost 1.4 seconds advantage over over Fontaine at the time of caution. But Miles will restart, it appears, in the 12th position. Alphen very quickly up into that second spot. He has fresher tires compared to Fontaine. About 32 laps fresher tires, that is. Jason Dalton in the pits, trying to get some repairs made as well as some tires. Again, no fast repair in this series. It's kind of a good way to do it, I think. It makes guys drive a little bit smarter if they can because they know there's no safety net to rely on. Some leagues do that all season long, no fast repairs whatsoever. Others may have a hybrid type thing where they run maybe one fast repair at the super speedways. I tend to kind of agree with that just for the fact that it only takes one mistake at the front of the field and you can wad up 3/4 of it for the rest of the race. On a broadcast perspective, it's not always fun to call a race with 5 clean race cars, 25 damaged ones. But again, no fast repair means you got to be calculating about your decisions. You can't be super aggressive. You got to make sure that car's there at the end because if you want to finish first you must finish. So, again, I stopped counting, but I think this is yellow flag 11, lap 104. Pace car lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car. So that means only one thing. Green flag racing the next time by. Field into turn 4. Pace car pulls off into pit lane. Green flag waves. We're back racing from Wilkesboro. Pretty clean restart so far. It's Fontaine and Alphen and Telder. Petchen there in 4th, even though that thing kind of looks like a modified. Still hanging tough in the 4th spot. So your top 5 is Fontaine, Alphen, Telder, Petchen, and Sainz. But that's going to change at the top here real quick, I believe. Brendan Alphen taking a look to the bottom. Alongside of Fontaine. Not quite enough. Fontaine gets the run down the front stretch here, back into turn number 1. Alphen to the bottom. Telder closing in. He wants a piece of this action. Telder making a move now. He's got the inside of Brandon Alphen for the 2nd spot. Alphen takes it back from Telder. Telder right on the back bumper of the 21. Looks like Alphen might have got a piece of the wall with the right side. Just a little scrape. No need to run to mom and dad on that one. He's got his foot in the throttle. He's chasing down Sam Fontaine. He wants that lead back. Fontaine defending well out of turn number 4. Still with the race lead. Lap 111 goes up on the board of 199. Way up the racetrack goes Alphen. Matt Telder there in the 3rd spot, trying to take advantage of what looked to be a mistake out of the 21, but maybe trying to run in that upper lane, trying to build a run for later. He's back to the bottom in 3 and 4 alongside of Fontaine, but again, Sam gets the run on a turn 4, maintains the top spot. Both these drivers very evenly matched, though. Alphen running a few hundredths of a second faster each lap, still unable to get there long enough to get the full length of that race car alongside and then by enough to clear Fontaine. Back to the stripe, 77 still leads, Alphen in behind. Telder back to the bottom, to the left elbow of Brandon Alphen. Telder trying to take the spot away. Alphen using pretty much the same technique that Fontaine is to defend the lead. He's defending second with it. It seems to be working, but it's allowing the guys behind to close the gap. Alex Bryson and then Alex Cummings both closing in on this battle. The top 5 nice and tight here as they get into turn 3. Fontaine still with the lead, but just by a few feet over the 21er Brandon Alphen. Remember, Alphen does have fresher tires underneath his machine, and then behind him, the battle for third, Matt Telder, Alex Bryson. Bryson with the nose out in front. In the bottom, he has enough to clear. Telder has the big run out of 4, not quite. I think Alex is going to have to work a little harder here to get that position. Back to the gas. He's got space, but not a ton. Now he's alongside Alphen for the second spot. Alex Cummings coming into this as well. Remember, Bryson and Cummings, they made their pit stop at lap 101, so they've got the freshest tires of the bunch. We've got a battle for the lead just ahead of the 63. Alex Bryson to the inside of Fontaine. Lap 118, he's down to the bottom again, down to turn number 1. Fontaine using that top lane to build the momentum out of the corner. Alex drives it way deep, slides up the racetrack, pulls off the slide job with ease, and new leader. Lap 119, it's Alex Bryson in the number 38. Fontaine may lose the second spot here to Alex Cummings as well. We said it just a moment ago. Remember, fresher tires for both of these drivers, the 63 and the 38. Fontaine just going to do what he can here to maintain as much track position as possible. Alphen has slipped back into P5. Telder now going to take that spot. Well, maybe not. Telder's still alongside, but Jason Dalton, Diego Sainz, they're coming up into this mix as well. Great battling here for the front of the field. All within the top 6. If we're not careful, it'll be the whole top 10 here momentarily. And caution on the speedway. Josh Gagnon, I think, has had an issue. Well, he's had many issues, it looks like. That thing is beaten and battered. Not sure if this is in or not, but we'll take a peek. Gagnon into turns 3 and 4. He's got Asher Gwinzy on the bottom. We'll go full speed here. Oh, just gets the power down hard. Gwinzy gets into him. Well, there you have it. We're going to jump out, get another break out of the way. We will be back after this.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
like Millet might have won this. He did by 2/100ths of a second over Brandon. That S4 guy off turn 4 for the final time sees the checkered flag. It waves. It belongs to the 315. Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short. Back at North Wilkesboro Speedway, approaching lap 125. That's when we'll get the restart here. Pit stops have been completed by some drivers up front. Not recently, though. But most recently, the top three, Bryson, Cummings, and Dalton. Been around lap 101 to 102. Marty's waving the green. We're racing at Wilkesboro. Battle up front, Alex and Alex. It's Cummings and Bryson battling door to door. They make contact into turns 1 and 2. Out of turn number 2, Bryson with the lead to number 38. Cummings challenging on the bottom. Does he have enough of a run down on the low side? 3 and 4, drives out of the corner. He's going to take it. Cummings back to the front. Race leader, Bryson now second. Telder runs third. Dalton running in the 4 spot. Diego Sainz, your 5th place machine. At the stripe, 70 laps to go. '71, that is. Alex Cummings the leader, Bryson running in second, Matt Telder. Dalton signs the top 5, Fontaine up into the 6th position. It's been the fastest really out there all day long. If you get him in some clean air, he's going to be dangerous. You got to really try hard to keep the 77 in the rear view mirror. He's working his way to the front, up into the top 5. Then Diego Sainz running 6th. Cameron Ingram 7th. Brandon Alphin and Steve Miles battling for position as well. Alphin just about clear of Cameron Ingram. In fact, he does. Now he gets alongside Diego Sainz. Alphin's pit stop, remember, lap 79, 4 tires and fuel. So Alphin up into the 6th spot. Sam Fontaine, on the other hand, he's already up into the 3rd position. Again, his pit stop, lap 47, so his tires significantly older than the race leaders, but certainly gaining some ground all over the back bumper of 2nd place Bryson. Fontaine trying to drive around the outside. There you have it. Just not going to the bottom, going up to the top. Able to get the power down a lot sooner than Bryson as well. Move Sam Fontaine up into P2. On board with Alex Cummings. How long will it be for Fontaine to take this top spot away? I don't think it's going to be too long. He's already there on the back bumper. Little tap, little hey, hi, how are you? I'm here. Once again, Fontaine going topside. Cummings didn't expect it, tried to get the power down, didn't have the room to the right. quarters battle. Oh, some contact. Cummings has to lift. So Fontaine back to the point here, coming to lap 138. Didn't waste his time, and he's doing it with older tires. Now, we do have a camera on the braking systems in these race cars, but as you can see, they're not getting very hot. Some tracks, they turn that nice day glow orange. They get so hot. Cherry red, I guess you could call it. Not the case here at Wilkesboro. Coming to 60 laps to go for Sam Fontaine. Look who's in second. Brandon Alphin didn't waste any time at all, and he does have fresher tires than Fontaine, though it didn't seem to make a huge difference. When Fontaine was trying to make the pass on Bryson and Cummings, they had tires from lap 101. Fontaine and Alphin, lap 47 and then 79 respectively. So TAC Gaming in the stream chat saying the 77 got tires last caution. Must be a glitch with the software because it's saying lap 47 still for Fontaine, but that's good to know. I appreciate that. So here we are, a bit of deja vu back towards the front portions of this race. The top two, Sam Fontaine, Brandon Alphin. Starting to stretch it out again here from Alex Cummings. Leader's just getting into one. Cummings just off of four. It actually gets a piece of the wall on corner exit. Brandon Alphin closing the gap. It's within 0.3 and even less as he gets even closer off of turn number 2. Fontaine doing a good job managing that gap back to the 21, but again, turn 4 is really the sweet spot for Brandon Alphin. He closes the gap considerably there. It's a tenth and a half quicker just through that portion of the race course. Good run out of turn 2. He's right there. We'll see how far he dives it into 3. It's a nose alongside. Fontaine goes up the racetrack. Fontaine, of course, is going to get the run out of 4, but Alphin not going anywhere. This is the battle for the top spot. Alphin might have got the right sides of the fence there just a bit, trying to defend, but maintains his foot on the throttle. Puts Alphin down 0.4, the disadvantage once again, but Brandon battling right back through turn 4 again. Now Fontaine way up the racetrack. Distance back to P3, Alex Cummings 3.5 seconds. Watch the battle for the 5th position. Jason Dalton now taking a spot from Alex Bryson. Tell you though, Justin Bonnarant not going away. TV panel missing, some damage to the nose of that machine. He's still hanging tough in the top 10, running 8th. Still on front, Fontaine, 3/10 over Brandon Alphin, goes way up the track again. A full straightaway plus back to P3. Tell you, we saw some guys doing this early on, trying to run way up that top lane here at North Wilkesboro. There wasn't a whole lot of guys doing it earlier, but now Fontaine is almost running a Larson line, at least through 1 and 2. Watch him again here, way up the racetrack on entry. Right side's just a foot or two off the wall. Gary Wright, another lap down. Chris Dean working on Cedric Ingram, the number 19 on the bottom there. Dean on the outside. Cedric not on the lead lap, not a position, but Dean still running in the 10th spot. Not a lot of cars out here that don't have some damage to them. 48 and the 19, of course, they're definitely some that have some bent sheet metal on them. Steve Miles, though, his car looking pretty clean in that Ric Flair drip number 24. Fontaine starting to increase the distance over the 21 of Alphin as we start to wind down here. About 30 laps to go. It's as close as 2/10. So as close as a side-by-side at one point, but now Fontaine with over half a second over Alphin. Doesn't look like much. It's a few car lengths, more like 4 or 5. Leader starting to work into some lap traffic, though. A nice long stretch of green flag racing here at Wilkesboro now. Yeah, we talked about it was going to get better, and it has. Sean Petchin battling with Alex Cummings. This would be for the 3rd position. Petchin's been involved in some wrecks here tonight, but I can tell you right now, the nose of that machine fully exposed. Which means those front tires staying nice and cool. I remember Martin Truex Jr. winning a race, I think it was at Martinsville. We had some right front damage, was able to cool that right front significantly, and it ultimately helped him. It's kind of a rarity. You don't usually wreck the car better. It seems to be working okay for Sean Petchin. He's still working within the top 5. Same situation for Justin Bonnarant. Bonnarant missing all sorts of body panels. Oh, the 61, Gary Wright loose. Gets into the fence on the front stretch here. Yellow flag on the speedway once again. You saw him get loose out of turn number 4. So under caution once again. Single car incident for Gary Wright. It's just under the yellow. Leader is going to come down pit lane. Sam Fontaine, Alphin, Cummings, Petchin, Bonnarant, Dalton, Telder. Likely their final stop of the afternoon. 4 tires the call up and down pit road. Fontaine down and away, so is Brandon Alphin. Tyler Brewer going to come down pit lane, make his final stop. Now, if I'm Tyler Brewer here, I'm going to actually take some time to get some repairs made. It's only about 19 cars on the lead lap. He sits 15th right now, so it's kind of advantageous to get some of that body work taken care of. Brewer down and away. Race winding down here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Final pit stops complete, barring any kind of crazy cautions here at the end, but I think these guys have all used up their tire allotments to this point of the game. Field getting the one to go as the wave around cars go by the pace car. Green flag the next time by. Pace car is off. Fontaine leads him down. He's in the gas. At 170 goes on the board. 171 that is. Fontaine with a big jump. Out ahead of Brandon Alphin. Puts 4/10 on him after just one lap. Justin Bondurant driving it way deep into turns 3 and 4, up into the 3rd spot. Everybody within the top 18 on their last set of tires, I would assume, here with lap 173 up on the board of 199. Fontaine still your race leader, but the pressure coming in behind on Brandon Alphin. Justin Bondurant was closing the door. Matt Teller, though, coming into the mix as well. He's going to try and take the 3rd spot from Bondurant. .25 laps to go from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Sam Fontaine still your race leader over Brandon Alphin, Matt Telder, Alex Cummings, and Justin Bondurant. We're going to take our one and only HBR TV side-by-side break, get it out of the way, and we will be back with the finish and the conclusion of the Keep It Cool 199. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
at North Wilkesboro. 13 laps remain. Sam Fontaine still the race leader over Brandon Alphen by not a wide margin. It says 4, now 3/10. Alphen's trying to get everything he can out of that race car to see if he can close the gap and put a challenge on here in the closing laps. Again, less than 12 to go. Down the backstretch one more time. Fontaine with the lead. That gap not really changing a whole lot. It goes from 3/10 to 4.5, back to 3. Sometimes you get a quarter second there. Just don't know if Alphen has quite enough to put on the challenge and make the pass. He's been a second place car most of the afternoon, obviously led some laps. Seems like every time the cycle goes through, Fontaine manages to work his way back to P1. Alphen ends up behind him. Ten laps to go from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Fontaine, your leader. Then it's Brandon Alphen, Matt Telder, Justin Bonnarant, Jason Dalton, the top 5. Christine is up into the 6th spot. Cameron Ingram runs 7th. Steve Miles, 8th. Alex Bryson, who showed pace early on, he runs 9th. Sean Petchin not giving up in the top 10. Then running in the 11th spot, Robert Lukens, Jacob Drift in 12th. Alex Cummings taking that spot away. Now he's 12th for now. Then it's Blaine Sparling, Tristan Lattiser, Tyler Brewer, Richard Midkiff, Cedric Ingram, Asher Gwinzy, top 20. Fontaine just so consistent, running lap after lap. It's about a full 10th a lap quicker than Alphen currently. See if he can maintain that all the way to the checkered flag. Alphen, all afternoon long, has been strong out of turn number 4. Just not enough everywhere else. If he could clean it up in 1 and 2, he would certainly have an opportunity to catch and maybe even pass the 77 of Fontaine, maybe take this checkered flag, but he has not been able to find the secret sauce just yet. Oh, real loose out of 4. Fontaine gets the power down a little too soon, almost went around. Alphen not close enough to take advantage. It does close the gap slightly to 3/10. Fontaine's going to need to regroup here with about 4 laps to go. See if he maintains the rear traction on exit this time with the 61 way up the racetrack. Slow, let the leaders go by. Seems to be okay for now, but Brandon Alphen's got to stop worrying about the race lead and kind of trying to find a way to hang on to the 2nd spot. Matt Telder on the attack to the outside, just drives around out of turn number 2. Takes the 2nd position away. Almost seemed like Alphen let him go or was kind of down on power. I don't know what the situation is there. Tires, they seem to be all the same as far as that is concerned. They all pit lap 166. With 2.5 laps to go, Fontaine out in front. Loving to see those two battle even for a brief moment. Fontaine out of turn number 4, sees 2 laps to go. Twin sticks at the start-finish. Fontaine working through some lap traffic. Asher Gwinzy slow on the bottom, staying with it. White flag in the air, final lap for Sam Fontaine. Nice and easy down the backstretch for the final time, on the brakes into turns 3 and 4. Looking for a checkered flag out of turn 4. It's Sam Fontaine. Wins the Keep It Cool 199. Matt Telder with a late race pass. He'll take the 2nd spot from Brandon Alphen. Fontaine burning it down here on the front stretch in North Wilkesboro. A win well earned. Don't think anybody had the answer for that 77 tonight. It's like a hot air balloon. Every chance he got, it just kept going up and up and up until he got back to the point. Takes the checkered flag here at Wilkesboro. Very happy man here on the front stretch. With that, let's take a look at our official race results. Of course, Sam Fontaine, your race winner. In the second spot was Matt Telder, taking that second position with just a handful of laps to go from Brandon Alphen. Brandon finishes third. Justin Bondurant, with a beaten and battered race car, still brings it home in the top 5 in the fourth spot. Jason Dalton was fifth. Christine finished in the sixth position. Seventh went to Cameron Ingram. Steve Miles was eighth. Alex Bryson was ninth. Sean Petchin was 10th. Alex Cummings, the number 63, finishes in the 11th spot. Diego Sainz, the 44, was 12th. Robert Lukens, 13th. Jacob Drift was 14th. Blaine Sparling, 15th. Tristan Lattiser was 16th. Tyler Brewer, 17th. Richard Midkift, he'll get credit for the 18th finishing position. 19th finisher was Cedric Ingram in the number 19. Asher Winsey was 20th. Josh Gagnon, 21st. 22nd, Gary Wright. Jason Clark, 23rd. Luke Simonson out of this one early. He was 24th. J.W. Miller, same situation, 25th. Chris Evans, shotgun on the field, 26th finishing position for the 00 with Aced Racing. It's going to wrap it up for us here at HBR TV from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Congratulations to Sam Fontaine on his race win. Tune in tonight, too. This is race 1 of 2, doubleheader day here at HBR TV. We've got the IROC Series kicking off their season tonight. I think about 8 p.m. We'll double-check that. But either way, tune in. We will be live here at multiple platforms, not just at HBR TV. Also, it'll be on IROC TV, on the Roku. You've got Twitter abilities. You've got other Facebook pages with the iRock page. If you just type in iRock, iRacing, in YouTube, you're going to find us somewhere. We'll make sure we get everything posted up when we can. But stay tuned, folks. It'll be a fun race tonight. Excited and happy that we got this one in here tonight. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't already done so, check out the website, hbrtv1.com. Also, give us a like, a follow, a share, subscribe. YouTube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1 helps us quite a bit here if you hit that like button on every stream that you can. We do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Congratulations to Sam Fontaine. We'll see you at the next one.